You don't fall in love with philosophy, as no one falls in love with God, unless you happen to have one of those miraculous births, like Jesus Christ, where you're born and you don't cry because you want your mother to nurse you. You say, God, where are you? Now, I don't know how those people are created. Don't get me wrong, there are some people out there who have this thirst. One of them happens to be John Fire Lame Deer. He was a Native American. He loved drinking and he loved the women. But later on he said, I love drinking and I love the women because deep down I come to realize now what I really wanted was experience of being alive. What I really wanted was understanding and truth. And one day he got drunk, he punched a few people, the cops were after him. He runs, knocks on this door, the woman opens the door and says, oh, John, I've been waiting for you. It's a woman she had never met in his entire life, and yet she was waiting for him. And she was able to put all of his emotions into language and then experience. You may be one of those types that are exempt from what I'm about to say. None of us fall in love with philosophy because we don't really know what it is. We fall in love with a person who is expressing philosophy. I don't fall in love with philosophy. What I do, I fall in love with Plato, whom I assume to be a philosopher. Through Plato becomes this icon. It's the Miley Cyrus of philosophy. He's the Michael Jordan of philosophy. I watch Michael play basketball. I say, oh my God, how could any human being jump that high? How could they score from the end of the court? How is that possible? And all of a sudden, he inspires me. Plato inspires me. Not God, not love, certainly not wisdom, because I have no idea what any of them are. Through Plato, I get glimpses of what philosophy looks like. And then I read more, and I read more. So the point I'm trying to make is, no one begins to like ideas. You begin to like the container in which the ideas exist. And in a language put very, very plainly, you're not going to like philosophy, you're going to like me. So what's going to happen, this is your physical life. And in your physical life, there are GPSs all over the place. You want to graduate, go see a counselor. They'll tell you what classes you need to take. You need a job, figure out what you're good at, apply to positions, do interviews, eventually you'll get one. So most of what you need to know exists out there. Just do some research. So this is your physical life. Now, from here to here, this is your emotional, spiritual, intellectual life. There are no clear maps. You are in the dark. And the thing you need to understand is this is always going to be in conflict with this. You have a wife. She's the mother of your child. She makes food. She cleans the house. You guys go on a cruise. She has her own stuff, but you guys have a great relationship. The only thing missing is love. And love has been stolen by life itself. The politics of life. Taking the kids to school, going shopping, your own stuff, her stuff, the confusion that all human beings suffer from, and eventually they collide. And little by little, love turns into like says, eventually, I will do whatever I can to survive. And once in a while you like her. And once every 10 years you say, oh yes, I love her too. This is going to demolish everything down here. Everything. You know, there is something interesting about Plato. Despite having written all the stuff, he says, I have never written down what philosophy is. Philosophy can't be written down. And when they asked Socrates, how come you have never written anything down? He says, philosophy can't be spoken. Philosophy can't be written. And I have never spoken of what true philosophy really is. You know exactly why you feel certain ways about down here. Now, when you go on this quest, somehow you want to go back down and manage your life down here. It's not manageable. You only have two options. You will either go on this quest, watching this crumble, or you will put this on the cross, as all of us have no choice but to. I mean, the idea that you have to put Jesus on the cross and kill him, it's a metaphorical story. All of us in this class have had moments of clarity about whatever. We have moments of clarity, but it is too painful to be around it all the time. So once in a while, you have no choice but to nail this understanding to the cross and make sure it never resurrects. The way this stuff works, at least insofar as I understand it, and I understand things really, really well. Am I being arrogant? Absolutely. For you, I'm arrogant. For myself, I'm actually quite humble before my craft. Now, this is Amir. You don't know why, but somehow you find yourself attracted. Now, you're not really attracted to my physical body. What you're attracted is the way I express ideas. That you've had all these feelings and emotions within for the past 20 years, But I'm like the Gospel of John. God had a spirit. He says, okay, where can I put my spirit? Let me put it in this man. I'm going to give this abstract thing a body. Give it a flesh. Now, I put your emotions into language. Now you begin to see them through language, through words. But for the first time, the words are now alive. You feel something. You're attracted. Attraction is inspiring. It's exciting. Now you say, do you teach any other classes? Yes. What days? Mondays and Wednesdays. Can I come and sit? Yes. There is a desire. This desire has some questions in it. You ask the questions and you get an answer. And then the desire, again, remember, all this stuff are tiny little seeds. Then you say, I want to go to his class. And you do. But just in case your wife says, I'm feeling a little sick, can you stay home? Say, well, I want to go to class, but I want to also take care of my wife. So what happens is, now you're stuck. Here or here? Well, you choose your wife, and rightly so. If, on the other hand, your wife is okay, and you want to come to class, and you do, and you keep coming to class, the want turns into a need. I need to go to his class. It's like, I need food. I'm starving. Well, why don't you go to a sociology class, a psychology class, a math class? Why don't you go around the lake? Because none of those places that you go to relate to the attraction, to the inspiration, to the desire, to the want, to the need. Only I can fulfill your need. That's it. Now, as you go home and you talk to your wife about this and that, she says to you, for the past 5 days or 5 weeks when you and I sit and talk, you just keep saying, Amir said this, Amir said that. What the hell is wrong with you? You become infatuated. Now, in this culture, this day and time, you say, am I gay? I can't be gay. I'm married. I've always liked women. I mean, that's the climate in which we live. You can't even trust anything about yourself anymore. Now, infatuation, you keep feeding it. It's like, you buy a redwood 1 gallon from Home Depot. You keep giving it food and water and light and this and that. And all of a sudden, it's like gigantic tree. Infatuation. Now that you're attracted, you're now 90%, 99% occupied with your life. When you have a desire, now you're 90% about life and 10% about Amir. When you have the want, now you're 80% life and 20% Amir. When you have need, now you are 40% life and 60% Amir. When you're infatuated, you wake up in the morning to do a dumping in the toilet, you say, oh, I wonder what Amir is doing. Does he dump as well? And now what you have is 80% Amir and 20%. And your wife says, where are you? I can't reach you. You say, no, honey, I'm right here. Yeah, I know you're here, you're just not here. Then you get to a place called obsession. Now, you are 95% Amir and 5% your life. And if you want your life to remain okay, you better be a good politician. Pretend well that when you're with your wife and your friends, don't call out my name. Now, you don't really know what's happening to you. And what happens is all the ideas we talk about in this class, you want to incorporate them in your life. It's not going to work. There's a man named Rumi. He's got this beautiful, beautiful story. It's about the friendship between a chicken and a camel. I know it sounds a little strange. The chicken and the camel become really, really good friends. And one day, the camel looks at the chicken and says, hey, I really, really like you. Why don't you come over? I'll make you some camel soup. It's like camel pee. The chicken doesn't know. He says, fine, I'll come over. It's great hanging out with you. And the chicken goes into the camel's house and says, oh my God, you have such a beautiful mansion. I love your place. Camel says, thank you. It's taken me a while. And then one day the chicken calls the camel, texts him perhaps and says, yo, camel, why don't you come over to my house? Okay. And the camel walks into the chicken's house, but destroys it. Because the chicken lives in such a small place and the camel lives in such a big place. Philosophy is big. Your life is small. Your life can fit philosophy, but philosophy can't fit your life. There is only one way for philosophy to come and live in your life, to destroy it. You destroy your physical life and then philosophy can enter. It can't be the other way around. Now, the only place after obsession you can go is this thing called love. Now, America is very impoverished in the sense that most of the love that we talk about has been romanticized. This is not the way the Greeks work. It's not the way the Middle East work. It's certainly not the way the Indians work. Love goes through all these different stages. The first is eros. Now, of course, the Greeks have about 7 to 12 different stages of love. Eros, and now I know you've been told that it's sexual, and it is in some ways. But eros is about the physical aspect of love. And that means the following. When you move into this particular stage of love, what you want to do is you say, Amir, can I come to your class? Yes. Amir, can I come to your office? Yes. Amir, can I come over to dinner? Yes. Amir, can I invite you and your family to dinner? Yes. And what you're saying, can I occupy the same physical space as you? Which means the following. It's what, I think it's Fraser in his book, The Golden Bough. It's a concept we call totem. Totem means the following. Let me just put it very, very simply. You have a girlfriend, you love her, she loves you. You guys go to In-N-Out to have some food. You're in and out, you have your number twos, cheeseburger, fries, and Coke. You leave, on the way home, you get into a car crash, your companion dies. But every time you pass that In-N-Out, it doesn't matter whether you're 10, 110, 1,010 years old. None of those things matter. That In-N-Out embodies a history that can never be deleted from your imagination. That's a totem. That the physical presence of In-N-Out takes you all the way back, and you remember everything vividly. A totem is a physical representation of perfection, of beauty. That's the first stage.